Okay, so we're going to be doing fundamentals of administrative management. And today we're going to be starting with unit number 1. Firstly, we're going to understand about the role of the administrative management. And after that, we're going to see how the role of an administrative manager relates to the functions of management. So there are different functions, and we're going to see how it relates to that. Then we're going to evaluate the role of administrative manager in the context of administrative management functions. So it's almost the same thing as the previous point. This was the course outline. So, okay. So what are you as a person, you've already done your O and A level. So what do you think? What comes to your mind when you think about administrative management?
These are basically like the day-to-day tasks, to like operate a business, like keeping its records and everything.
Yeah, you're completely right. So it says that the term administrative management refers to the act of running and maintaining a business or an organization. That's the same thing as you said. So the core objective of administrative management is to create a formal structure. So they're going to make a hierarchy, like who's in charge and who has to report to which person, or who is accountable to which manager or which subordinate. And that facilitates success for a particular business or an organization. So this is the overall meaning or the understanding by the administrative management term. So coming towards the role of the administrative management, so administrative managers oversee the support operations of an organization. Like what are the day-to-day processes, the procedures that are going on. They ensure that there is effective information flow and the resources are employed efficiently throughout the business. We need to see that, okay, our resources are not being wasted, or they are utilized effectively and efficiently. Strong administrative managers are organized and detail oriented. They have good analytical skills, so they are able to run day-to-day operations. Their duties might include, like, they have to supervise the staff, they have to facilitate communication throughout the company, they have to develop procedures to make a workplace more efficient. And they also provide motivation to the workforce, and they have to make them realize of the goals of the organization so that all the employees are on the same page and they follow the same vision.
Yes.
So till here, everything is understood. Are there any questions you want to ask?
No, everything's fine.
Now, that was all for 1.2. We understood the role of the administrative management. Now coming towards 1.1. Now coming towards 1.2, we have to explain the role of the administrative manager relating to the functions. So an administrative manager's job description includes work to provide guidance to other workers or their employees or the subordinates. So subordinates are the people that are working under the manager. So, and a manager needs to ensure that the organization has the necessary supplies or the resources, and that manager has to find ways to improve business processes and manage company finances. So this is almost the same thing that we have just studied in the previous slide. So now we're going to see that what are the functions of management. So from establishing internal processes and structures to knowing which employees or teams are best suited for specific tasks, keeping everything organized throughout the daily operations, and it is one of the most important part for any manager. So managers also need to be able to reorganize in response to new challenges. For example, if we take the current example of COVID, so obviously organizations, managers had to change everything because this was a new situation they had to face. So the management has to be able to, they should be flexible. They should be able to change towards a change. They need to be responsive towards a change. So now we're going to discuss the roles and functions of managers. Maybe you have already also done this in your A levels as well, because I remember that I studied these functions in my A levels. So you can see that it says that these are the 4 functions of managers: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Some some scholars even say that there are 5, some say there are even 6 as well, but the main are these 4: so planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So as you can see, the planning stage tells us that we need to plan our goals and we need to organize and make strategies to achieve those goals. So this is the planning part. Then we need to come to the organizing. Over here, it says that set all resources in implementation of the plans. So we need to see how many labor do we need, how many finance do we require, how many equipment or machinery do we require, what kind of a location do we require for our business. So we need to organize everything in this stage. Then comes the controlling part, where you monitor and evaluate the performance. So now our workers are working, we have installed everything, and now we're going to monitor that is everything going smoothly? Are we achieving something? And then we're going to evaluate the performance. So we're going to see that, okay, our goal was to achieve at least, a growth of 20%. So are we even achieving that, or are we not? So if we are, then it's a good thing. We can move on to the next goal. But if we aren't, then we'll have to control that, control that situation. And we'll have to we'll have to follow a plan B, and we'll have to, a contingency plan. We'll have to plan a plan B, and we'll need to follow that. So we need to rectify what is going wrong in that process or procedure. Then we come towards leading. And over here, we need to lead our employees from the front. So, this is the main task of a manager, that he needs to lead his employees, his subordinates from the front. He needs to tell them how you need to perform this task and how you need to go further. So by using these 4 functions, managers work to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of their employees, their processes, their projects, and the organization as a whole. So, and this is all for 1.2. Now coming towards 1.3. So now we're going to evaluate the role of administrative manager in context of the administrative management function that we discussed before. So administrative functions means functions normally associated with routine operation of different things like, purchasing for the business, managing services, their data processing, warehousing, equipment repair, printing in your office, or stuff like that. So now we're going to see that what are the 6 functions. Like I told you that we studied 4 functions over here. Now we're coming towards the 6 functions that was, by Henry Phil maybe you have studied about him as well. And he introduced these 6 functions of management. And it said that before planning, there's going to be an extra part that's going to be forecasting. So first, we're going to forecast, then we're going to plan, then we're going to organize, then we're going to command and coordinate, and then we're going to control. So he added a few extra parts in that first 6 functions of management. So as you can see, forecasting means that you forecast beforehand. You'll write everything beforehand. So you're gonna see that, okay, we will require this much money, we'll require these suppliers, we need to work with these suppliers, our customers will be, maybe middle class people or like upper class people, or whoever you want to target. You're going to do your market segmentation, you're going to do market targeting, you're going to see how you're going to advertise through television, through internet. Are you going to set up a website or not? Are you going to have a shop in the local market or not? So all these things you need to forecast beforehand. Then obviously we discussed planning, then we also discussed organizing, then we come towards commanding. So commanding is like, in the previous picture, we discussed leading. So commanding and leading, they are almost the same thing. So like the manager has to command the employees. Then we come towards coordinating. So coordinating means that you need to coordinate all the resources. Like we talked in planning and forecasting, that we need to also, hire our employees. So we're going to discuss, like, if I'm hiring my employees and I have like 2 businesses, one is in one city and the other is in the other. So I need to coordinate that my employees in one city are working on this specific project, or this number of, if it's a factory, this number of shoes, or this number of clothes, and the factory in the other city. So how my laborers or my workers are working over there, I need to coordinate between the two. So there is like no duplication of resources. So there is no waste is generated. So this is also a very important part of functions management. Then we come towards controlling, and we have already discussed controlling, that we need to monitor and evaluate the performance. So is it clear till here?
Yep.
Great. Okay. So it says that explain how the role of manager relates, and we have already discussed these, that a manager firstly has to forecast, look at the market trends and study them. Then we talk about planning, that he will have to plan how to get all the resources. Like if he wants to finance, then he will have to think, like he'll have to see that see from which bank he needs to get that finance. If he needs to buy the raw materials, where would he buy them from, and all those kind of stuff. Then we come organizing. He has to organize all the resources, financing all the HR. He also needs to see how much salaries and wages I have to give to the laborers as well. Then he will have to command his subordinates, then coordinating, so everything is running smoothly. And controlling is when anything goes wrong, then the manager should have a control and rectify that thing. What are the skills of an administrative manager? So here are a few skills that a manager should have. Like he should have project management skills. He should know like how to take a project and how to run a project, how much money you will require, how much labor you would require, if you need a team, if you have to like keep it an individual person work or whatever. So he needs to have this skill. Then written and verbal communication skill. It is very important that a manager has these skills, because employees, they look up to their managers. they follow their manager. So it is very important that they understand what their manager is trying to tell them. And then he should be a supervisor. He should supervise effectively if anything is going wrong, even the slightest of the smallest thing, he should be able to see that. He should be able to correct that. And then we have scheduling and planning. He should be, on top of deadlines. He shouldn't be late to everything because, as you know, that employees look up to their managers. So if you're late as a manager, then obviously your employees aren't going to take you seriously. Then you should have good leadership skills. You should be able to lead your employees. You should be able to you should be an emotionally intelligent person. You should be able to communicate with them easily. And then we have organizational skills. It is almost the same as scheduling and planning beforehand, because you need to stay on top of your deadlines. Then we have attention to detail. That is, you can connect it with the point number 3, that is supervisor. So like I told you, that he should know that, okay, this is the slightest change. So he should be able to know that he needs to correct that. Then we have administrative writing and reporting skills. So he should know how to write, in a formal manner, that he is able to report to the CEO, or he is able to report to journal directors. So these are the skills that are really important for a manager. So now coming towards the administrative of or management functions of an office. So now we're going to see that what are a few things that goes on in an office. So the first is organizing the office. So organizing the office involves performing management functions of planning, organizing, controlling. And in other words, the office work must be properly planned, organized, and then executed according to those plans. So a proper control must be exercised over the office activities and also over the affairs of different employees and departments. And besides them, activities must be effectively coordinated. So, like, firstly, we need to see that at what location would we make our office? How much would be the rent? Or if you're buying the place, or if there's going to be contracts involved, from who are we buying the place? Is it legal? Is it not? All these problems we need to see and talk about them. Then it says that laying down office routines and systems. So, for a steady and undisturbed performance of the office should develop a routine system and procedures. And since all the jobs in the office are like interdependent and interrelated, there should be a proper sequencing of routine for each type of work. And this is possible only when proper systems are laid down. So, for example, one we can take is that the first thing would be coming to office on time. So the employees have to know that, okay, they have to be there by 9. So you have to have an office routine. Or, for example, if you're going to get a prayer break in between at 12 or at 1, you're going to get a prayer break. And then at 2, you're going to get a lunch break. So you need to lay down the office routines and systems properly. So it is easier for the employees to follow. Then we have form designing and control. So a form is like a standard record which is used to accumulate and transact information. These forms serve as a storehouse of information. And since the office work is like largely paperwork, so forms used should be properly designed so as the required information is collected in appropriate manner. And it is a duty of the office management to design the various forms that can be used in various departments. So, like, for example, if this is mainly this mainly comes under the HR, because they need to properly design forms. So if there is any problem, an employee needs to like he's not feeling uncomfortable, or he's like a lot of stresses, he's facing a lot of stress at work. So these forms are made, and these are given to the employees like every once a week or every once a month. So they can communicate with their um, upper management, and they could like control the situation and try to make it comfortable and appropriate for the employees. Then we come towards procurement and the supply of stationery. So obviously that to carry on the office work, stationery of suitable quality should be supplied to the staff and others in required quantity. So the office should arrange for like the procurement of necessary stationery and issue them to all the departments. So for example, if I'm working at a bank, so we'll need papers, we'll need like highlighters, we'll need pens, we'll also need sometimes pencils, erasers, and all these stuff. So it is the duty of the administrative management to, procure and purchase all these things and supply them to the staff. So now coming towards the next point, that is selection and purchase of office appliances and equipment. So in every office, the management should provide, suitable furniture to the staff, the tables, the chairs, the telephones, the calculators, the printers, and whatever things, are required these days in an office. So labors saving devices that have become all popular in like modern offices, like you need a proper laptop as well, or like a proper desktop computer with a proper keyboard and mouse. So the office manager should procure and purchase all the right type of equipment, and they should also maintain it in good working conditions. So they need to maintain those equipment as well. Keep them clean, keep them tidy. So it doesn't tear and wear, and it doesn't, you don't have to buy a new one like after every 2 months. So you need to take care of as well, because these equipment are, when you're buying a lot of them, they can become like quite costly for the business. Then if we come towards public relations function, so you could also call it PR. So public understanding and acceptance for any organization is an essential part. So this calls for like constantly you have to be in touch with the public. You need to be in touch with your stakeholders, your government, your consumers, as in your customers, your suppliers, your society where you're working in. So the main purpose is to of public relations is to like make the enterprise look good for all the actions that it's doing. So many many businesses and offices, they also follow CSR. So do you know about CSR?
Customer relationship.
It's like a corporate social responsibility. Yeah. So like they have to take care of the environment, they have to take care of the society they're working in. They don't have to like pollute the environment, or they don't have to like waste anything. They don't have to damage the environment. Like some factories, they put chemicals in the rivers. So it's obviously polluting the rivers. They are making a lot of smoke. The pollution is going in the air. It's disturbing our ozone layer. So, public relation also helps them to take care of the society as well. And because of this, it makes a good image in front of the people. So then we come towards controlling office costs. So the expenditure on the office cost is another factor which needs to be controlled. And by scientific methods, like you nowadays we are coming towards automation. We're bringing in like different robots and like different devices that can help us to make our processes and procedures become more efficient. So however, like this is costly in the short run, but in the long run it is cost effective. And this is how office cost can be controlled, and they can be like reduced substantially over a period of time. So yeah, so that is all. um and are there any questions maybe you want to ask?
Um, no, I think it's all clear for now.
Okay, that's great. And yeah, so yeah, this is unit 1 is complete.